My name is Phindile Moyo and still joined by Pastor Graham and our co-host, Prophet Mayanist. Okay, as you heard before the break, we were talking to Pastor Graham about how he used to fail at school. He was always number last. He didn't know what to do. His dad was confused and he had to repeat school. He had to go from, instead of moving to grade 7, he had to go back again to grade 6. What a story. What a moving story. But if you look back to where he's coming from and then see the person that he is now, he can really talk to a bunch of people and really teach them a lot of things. This is the person that he has become. He's now a leadership coach, life coach, pastor, MC, and his English is very good. When thinking about the fact that you're saying you were dumb at school, your English is very good, by the way. So let us talk about how you got to repeat, right?
All right.
And what do you think your dad was feeling, and the fact that it was him as a single parent and he's male raising you, how do you think he was feeling?
Let me say, I think it was disappointing to him, because me being the last born, I was his last hope, you see, and I would like to recall the days when my mother died, when I was in grade 6, 6 years old. I heard people saying, give us the child. As a single father, you cannot raise this young boy 6 years. And my father said, just give me the child. I will make sure he grow. And Saka, to him, I was his last hope. He had much hope and much faith in me, and he loved me so much. But I used to see, whenever I come with my report, you could see with the reaction, sometimes he was disappointed. And even sometimes he could say, what what happens with parents. Sometimes
other kids can do this, why can't you?
So it came a time, when I was about to go to grade 7. He said, no, you have to come back to grade 6. And when I went to Kwanzaa 4 primary for my grade 6, now I was repeating. I spent the whole year in group 6, and my teacher said, everyone in group 5 and group 6, you are not going any further. You have to come back grade 6, because I don't see anything good come out. And I said, ma'am, that won't be possible for me, because this will be the second time repeating. And she said, no, you have to. And at that time, as a young guy, I didn't even think about life or anything else. So I still remember one day my teacher, she was asking people in class, what do you want to do when you grow up? When it was my turn, she said, she said that. And by the time she said that, I was young. And I even laughed. And even the whole class laughed at me, when she said, because at that time I was naughty. And I was naughty and dumb. So she said, and that was it. And the whole class, laughed at me. But when I was now in secondary, I began to recall those words were coming out now. And I said, hey, ma'am said, I'm useless. And normally what happens, that's the reason why I was also motivated. I have a book that I'm writing now, which is the Teacher's Touch. My first publication was the Mother's Touch, and now I'm writing the Teacher's Touch. The reason why it is motivated on my story, because I believed my teacher. She said I'm useless, because it happens. Teachers, they have more influence on children, more than parents. Why? Because they spend a lot of time with their teachers.
Yes.
So whatever the teacher says, the child believes that. And I believed that I'm useless. Up until when I got born again, in church, I used to hear the Bible says, I'm more than a conqueror. The messages I was hearing from the church, they resurrected me because I was a dead person walking in this world. It resurrected me. And I said, okay, so with Jesus, I can be something else. So this is how it happened. Up to now, I don't even know the results, my grade 7 results. I don't even know. I went to Form 1 with the report, and I was in the last class, Form 1, in the last class, and in the last class, I was the last person. I still remember, I used to fail also in the last class.
You were the last
I was the last person, and I went to Form 2. So when I got born again, wow, it's interesting.
What do you think about this one, Prophet Mayanist?
This is
in the last class, you were the last person.
With us manje susuma prophet manyama kana mwanada iso tinenge takutotaura kuti takutofana kuisa ka spiritual element because last teta kutotaura kuti zvedzinza zvakabata mwana anofana kuti ambosukwa munyasha. But anyway, tikunzwa zviri kuitika it's Manyama last, not really good at last, no. It's no, last of the best. Yeah, anyway.
Alright.
So here's what happened. I still remember at Form 2, we wrote an exam, second term. You know the subject GNC. At that time I don't remember. I'm not sure if it's still there.
ZJC.
GNC, Guidance Counseling.
Oh, the guidance.
It's a subject like that.
Yes.
I still remember I wrote the exam and I had 0%. And I still remember, better enough, the teacher only wrote 1 0. So what I did, I wrote, I had to put a 1, behind the 0. Because I knew if I put 20 or if I put 30, my father won't believe, because with all the the marks, I had 3%, 5%, 10%, and so 10% was my highest. So I had to put 1 to be 10, so that just going and submit a report with 10% or 0%, I knew it was going to be a horror. So I said, okay, let me just put 1, and so that was it. Many people, they might not believe my story, but whenever I do life skills, I work with my reports. Whenever I do the life skills, I work with my reports. So that people, they will believe me.
Yeah, when I want to report
today. I don't have it, but I normally work with it. The reports. So at Form 2, in church now, I was now a Christian. So the elder, one of the elders just asked, Mukoma Mnashi, can you please read the Bible for us?
Yes.
Shona Bible. So ndakataka ukakama, ndichitrai kuda kuverenga, I could not read. And my father was furious with that. He was so angry. We went home and said, Ukatadza kuverenga Bible reshona iwewe. Uchinyadzisa pamberi pevanhu. And because of that, he said, so next year, ufanira boarding. Uri kutamba nechikoro. So my primary level, people, they used to call me Rasta.
I see you had dreadlocks.
No, I used to sing dancehall.
Oh.
And I wanted to call myself Rasta. I'm a Rasta. I used to sing song.
Do you mind
I want to Rasta, something like
Yes.
that. So that was my favorite song.
Do you mind if we take you back to your lines, like when you were in that element? Do you want to hit us with a few lines?
Yeah,
no, don't say that. What I still remember, my favorite song from Winkity at that time, I want to Rasta, something like that. I used to sing something like that. Then nikataka kuimba class nakapata pencil. Ndakaisaka kupanga what Rasta does. Nakapata katika short kangu kuchukuru. Nikataka kuwa watu madance. People, they will say, so from my primary level, I was a crowd puller because even by that time, I was pulling crowds. You know, so people, they used to come around me. I used to sing. You know, I used to sing and make jokes.
Yeah.
People, they would laugh. You know,
Wow.
jokes. People, they would laugh. And the other thing, I was a dancer. So I said, if I fail my form 4, yes, I started so, dance or dances. That was me. So when I came to Christ now, all changed.
All changed. All those things. So is it safe to say, as people, since you are also all about personal development,
yes,
right? I think, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, is it also safe to say we are different, we all have things that we are good at as people? It's not a must for all of us to be good, to be smart at school? Like, I'm not saying that I'm against education or anything,
Yes.
but I'm just saying that we might not be good at school, but there are other things that we're good at. So should we really focus on those things more and less on school? How do you think, like, as a person, you can balance all that? You, as someone who is all about personal development, you teach personal development.
Yeah.
What do you think if someone has that thing, is going through that situation, where if they're not smart at school, but they can maybe play drums, they can play soccer, the same thing that you went through?
Okay, what I may say on that, I think this is my area now. Because I'm a personal development coach, and
Yes.
I focus also on life skills.
This is why you are here, because we need your expertise.
That's true.
We need your answers.
Thank you. So what I always teach, you know, in my life skills, I always use, when it comes to that element, as you're asking, I always use a quote from the man Albert Einstein. He once said, if you judge a fish according to its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its life, the rest of its life, thinking that it's stupid. Why? Because if you take a fish and you say, climb the tree, yotaza kukwira muti. Muita, unaona gudu anatsoka kukwira muti. Unotaza zvitadzo nevamwe. One thing that you need to have in mind is we are different. God has wired us differently. And when it comes to scriptures, I always use Matthew chapter 25. You know, the Bible says, when, you know, this master, when he was going outside, he gave talents to his servants. To one he gave 5, to the other he gave 2, the last one he gave 1. And the Bible says he gave them according to their abilities. So we have different abilities, you see. So one thing that we need to do, and one thing that you have to understand is, there are 3 things I always say they have changed this world. 3 things. Number 1, ideas. Because whatever we see today, it came as an idea. The microphone I'm holding, you know, the badge I'm wearing, you know, whatever that we have now. You know, in this room, the only thing that was created by God is us. Everything that we see, it was created by humans. It came as an idea first, you know. So ideas changed this world. And number 2, the other thing that has changed the world, talents. You know, we have people who are trending because of their talents. You know, we have Oliver Mtubuzi. You know, he died, and we are still talking about him. He's a legend. He was a legend, and he was a legend not because of education, but because of music. You know, and his music contributed something to the community. You know, we have people like Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, he will say education was not my doorway, but sport was my doorway. And I heard Obama saying education was my doorway. So there is no way, you know, we don't have a one-size-fits-all shoe. Why? Because every person is different. So the story of Michael Mahendere, the story of Obama, the story of Kama Billiard, the story of Makandiwa, or anyone, they have different stories. Why? Because they have different places to fit on this earth. So the reason why we have people who are failing, and also the reason why you find people, they are committing suicide, and we have people who are failing in some areas, it's because community has told us there is only one way to success.
True.
There's only one way to fulfillment.
True.
And yet it's not one way.
Mm-hmm.
Because God has made it differently. So one thing that we have to respect is the reason why God has given us talents and God has made us different. It's because God respects diversity. In this world, the moment we force you into something that is not in you, we are depriving the world of the real you.
Oh my God.
You see? So it's always important for us to focus, to discover myself, to discover yourself, to discover your area, to discover your strengths, to discover your abilities. And I always say, even if we were born in 4 in our home, and I always say the 4 of us, we are different. And when I also do what I call the, I'm also writing something, I've wrote a module that I'm teaching parents, what I call the effective parental toolkit. I always say to parents, don't even compare your children, because there are 2 things that are different on them. What you call agility and ability. Agility, that's the speed in us. Ability is what we are good at, you know. So these are the natural things on us. When you say agility, in the prophet Manyama, chairs 10, chairs. You are most assured that time at no page even 10 chairs. Speed that's agility. So it's always important to respect that. You know, so there are sometimes where a child and compare and because of that, this is how we are killing the self-esteem. You know, I always say the church and family in school, I've seen they've contributed in killing the sense of creativity. They've contributed in killing the sense of self-esteem in other people. Why? Because if you fail in school, people, they say you are useless. My teacher used to tell me that I'm useless because I was failing in school. I was failing to comprehend some things that were written by other people. And she used to tell me I'm useless. But nowadays I'm writing my own things. So just imagine if those words, I believed them up to now, that I'm useless. I would not have been an author. I would not be have been a speaker. I've impacted young people, many people now. But all these were going to be deprived if I believed my teacher. You know, and even my family members, they used to say, I'm not sure, but you know, people they say that you know. So this is my journey. So I believe, Shanti, that people were different.
Yes.
And I'm not even against education. I like it, you know. And recently I launched the life skills, a new package, what I call the modern day life skills, comprehensive. It has 5 levels. So you discover that in those 5 levels, I try to make sure that it's comprehensive. I cater for those who are not academically gifted. And I try also to comprehend, I try to cater those who are academically gifted. You know, I try to make sure that I cover everything. I teach entrepreneurship, I teach the academic part, I teach also on the talent discovery, talent development and talent deployment. It's very important on that. So this is what I always teach in terms of that. So we are different. You see, we are different. Yes, we are here. We are different.
Wow. Wow. I'm touched. I'm touched. Okay. So we'll be right back with the Gospel Love Show, right here with Pastor Graham. It is indeed a pleasure having you here, because we don't have to say much anyway. We just don't have to say much, because already you are a speaker. That's why we brought you here, so that people learn, people get inspired from your journey and everything. This is the Gospel Love Show. Please make sure that you follow Zim Gospel Masters Radio on Facebook, and also Zimbabwe Christian Ministers Association on Facebook. So we'll be back.
Zim Gospel Masters publication conducts an online broadcasting and offers advertising slots in their various print publications to interested parties. Zim Gospel Masters Radio, spreading the good news.
Zimbabwe Christian Ministers Association is a platform which helps equipping pastors in their ministerial work. be it in education, welfare. They support you when you are a church minister. It is a platform that is there to equip, that is its mandate. So if you are a church minister, if you are a chaplain, if you're a Bible school student, you're welcome to come and be a member of Zimbabwe Christian Ministers Association. Or if you're not a member, you can as well come and also visit the Institute, Zimbabwe Christian Ministers Training Institute, where you can do your chaplaincy course, pathway to ordination, marriage officiating. There's a lot that you can choose from there if you know that you want to be in any ministerial studies. My name is Phindile Moyo. We are right back here at the Gospel Love Show, still with Pastor Graham. You chose this song by Minister Elliot Anosimudza. This is the song that's playing on the background. Why this song?
All right. Simply because this song, I think it really speaks on my life. Because God has raised me from the dust up to where I am today. So it's a song that really resonates with what has really happened in my life. So it really touches me. And by the way, I also love this man, Minister Elan. So I love a lot of songs from him, but this one is my best now.
Wow.
So yeah, because it really resonates with where God has taken me from.
Okay. I really appreciate the fact that you even wrote this book called The Mother's Touch. This is the book that you wrote. Can you tell us about this book?
All right. Mainly about this book, many people, they always ask me, why did you write a book about mothers? And yet
you were raised by
a father,
yes,
and you didn't grow up with a mother. It came as an inspiration. I must say, just because I grew up without a mother, I think I lost a lot, because there were some elements, there's the motherly touch that we really need, as you grow. And I lost that, I could not get that. And so I used to admire other people with their mothers, at school, their mothers coming to school, and in many other areas. But what really happened to me is, it just came as an inspiration. I just began to think about the influence that mothers have. Because if you really want to check in our community, mostly mothers have more time with children more than fathers. You see? And because of that, mothers, they have influence either to destroy or to make the child. Because whenever I do life skills, you hear that whenever I talk with the young people, ndaenda ku consultation because vana mai kazhinji kacho vanotaura, vana baba vanorowa, vana mai vanotaura, and also vana mai vacho futi ndo vanorowa stereki, vanogona kurowa mwana every day, baba vamwana vazomubata ka1 pamwedzi. So you find kuti because of that influence yekuti vana mai vari very close, very, in most cases they spend more time with their children. Vanoda kubatsirwa, because whatever they say, whatever they do, nevana zvine influence yazvinoita. Of course there is the fatherly place, that one iri payo yega tinoitaura iri separately, but apa ndachida kufocus more on the mothers. And I am also inspired by stories of mothers, the single mothers who have raised their children to be successful. If you find even in that book, I have placed some people, the likes of Arthur Marara, Strive Masiwa, and other people. Those guys who were raised by single mothers, and we have made it in this life. So I was also inspired with that. So I wanted to help women. The reason being is because in our community, women, they are regarded on low level. you know. And because of that, some women, they think, you know, we just, you know, birth machines, we just give birth to children, but we don't have much influence and we don't have much.
And it's only to just submit.
Yes. So I wanted to tell the women that there is a place that you have. You can still contribute to the society, you can still contribute to the community by intentionally raising the children, you know. It is the mother who can have an influence. Yekubatsira mwana kuti agone kusubmit even to the father. Because you know kuti amai vane influence pamwana, vanogona kutenda mwana against the father. So whatever, we need to make sure that the mother is positive, trying to help her, to make sure that we also remove that low self-esteem that was built by the community. They are nothing in this community, you know, because like also when I do my life skills, I have more inclinations to young people and women. Why? Because we're in a patriarchal society, and because of that, women, they are regarded very low.
True.
And then I believe that they are powerful beyond measure. They have something in them. If we really develop them and help them, they are as much as young people. If we can develop them, we can still get something in return. So this is why I wrote that book.
Don't undermine your role as a mother. Those are the words by Pastor Graham. So when are we expecting at least The Father's Touch? A book called The Father's Touch, at least. I mean, that one has to be a powerful one.
I'm actually working on that because that would be, because I need to strike a balance, you see, because if I only give the mother's touch, you know, in terms of the mother's role, what will be the father's role? Because also the fathers, you know, the father, I think from the Bible, wherever we get, even God himself, he looks forward to see men impacting the society, you know, and in most cases also now, you know. So I want to help the father, that would be fatherhood, helping them on the spiritual path, on the inheritance path, on what they are going to give to their children. So I'm also working on that. So maybe by the end of this year, I'll be done with that.
Any programs that you are working on that people can attend to?
All right, like I said, like we have said, I'm a leadership coach, and also I'm a personal development coach. So I'm a leadership coach, so I do leadership trainings, and then I'm a personal development coach. On my personal development, I've chosen the life skills, mind shift, and peak performance. So I do all these. The life
when
skills.
are the classes? Where are they conducted?
All
How
right.
can people get in touch?
Okay, like mainly my peak performance. I'm working at ZCME. You know, I'm offering these as I'm running the the training department.
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry about that. I didn't mention Pastor Graham is a part of Zimbabwe Christian Ministers Association, the producers of the Gospel Love Show. So yeah.
So yeah, because I'm a lecturer there, and also I'm running the trainings department. So I've just offered, you know, that product, the peak performance. So this one I'm doing it on church leaders and also other people who operate on different capacities in churches. But also it also touches on the professional side, also in the business side, because peak performance, it helps a person to perform at their best, you know, the optimal level on any role they have, you see. So it touches on every aspect in every sector. And then I have, so we do the classes at ZCMA, and then I have the life skills. You know, the first class is starting on the 25th, that will be on Monday.
Okay.
Yes, but we will be doing it, it's an ongoing program.
Right.
So we have 5 levels. Each level is 7 topics, so that will be 35 topics in all.
And how can people get in touch
with me? Okay, they can use my social media handles. I have Facebook, Graham Ainzalisi. I have Twitter, Graham Ainzalisi. I have LinkedIn, Graham Ainzalisi. And also on WhatsApp, 0771 504 558.
All right.
Okay.
And you are also an MC. I feel like since you used to be an entertainer at school, don't you think that you're also you're bringing that side when you're emceeing at weddings and
Really?
all the events? Yes.
No, when you come to my weddings, you won't believe at the pastor.
Exactly.
Because that's one side, one to move because whenever you see me, when you see me face to face, I'm a quiet person. Because don't share my basa because of that. Or I mean, when I'm quiet like this,
yes.
You're not just my fans. With you. But whenever they see me on the scene now, you won't believe me. And so how I started that journey is because when I was in Bible school, I used to see other people, the time when I was in Bible school, this is when I saw this industry rising. The master of ceremonies. But now it has become an industry.
Yes.
Now people are in business with that. So I saw people rising. And when I was in Bible school, I used to, to reserve myself, say, MC nini. Because I knew that my jokes. Even in church, MC on
you were trying to now reserve yourself.
So I tried to reserve. But it all started when I was now in my second year in full-time ministry. After Bible school. I think it was about 4 years after Bible school. About 3 years after Bible school. I saw one of my friends saying, I'm going to 30 child per year. And she has a motor I drive. As a life skills coach, I teach people, to use their gifts, to use their talents.
To make money.
To make money. So why can't I use money? In as much as I'm using it to speak, on the speaking ability, as I'm using the speaking side, the coaching and all these, but why can't I use the MC? So this is how I started. And
Wow, wonderful.
So that's my story.
Wow. Okay. And then one last thing. They call you the mind shifter. You shift minds.
Really?
Why do you think I feel like my mind has been shifted already because that's why they call you the mind shifter. And also, I would like you to elaborate more on what you call entrepreneurship. I remember when you had a peak performance training, entrepreneurship was one of your topics that you were going to cover. But the entrepreneurship, actually, it wasn't the entrepreneurship that we're used to. You spelled it starts with an I. That's how you spell the entrepreneurship. And you explained it and said it is the sense of self.
The sense of ownership.
The sense of ownership.
Really?
Please close with that.
Okay. All right. The difference, because I do both. The entrepreneurship that started with the
business.
On the business side.
Yes.
Those who start, the enterprises.
Yes.
I don't want to cover on that. And then I also do the entrepreneurship, which starts with an I. That one, if you check, it talks about the sense of ownership. People who works at a company, but who have a mind of an entrepreneur. The entrepreneur. They have those people. They work not as employees. They work as collaborators. Wow. Because you know what happens when a person is called an employee. What you are simply saying is the person is offering his or her skills. Is offering labor so that we can help in terms of advancing whatever business that is there. But when a person is an employee, but also with the mind of an entrepreneur in his or her mind, that person will happen is you grow from being offering his labor, but you'll be a collaborator, whereby the company will be more like his or her company. So that person will bring ideas, not jealous, bring ideas, with an element of saying, because you know what happens when a person is at work, I just company hungry. I don't want to scale out WhatsApp, but if a person is a collaborator, he knows that I'm part and parcel of the progress in this place. I have to contribute something to the advancement of this thing. I take it like mine. Because whenever, this jacket is mine. Even Pandro guarantee because this is mine. But kune munhu ari kunotatora chinhu chemunhu haafungi about that. Anozwa ngogara chero anenza directly nobody's watch. So it's the same. Now whenever I take ownership on anything, I will touch it very well. I will make sure that I build it like my own. I build it like my own. So that sense, we need to build that in employees. This is how we can make progress in companies. This is how we can make progress even in churches. The reason why you find there are people who are no slega even in ministering. But but if you have a sense of ownership, so if it is mine, then I have to do something on that.
Wow. He speaks. Thank you so much, Pastor Graham. Thank you so much for gracing us. Thank you so much for the words. We're learning, we're being inspired. So I'm going to play your song, Makana Kajesu, by Minister Maindiri.
Right.
I love that song as well.
Really?
Yes.
Thank
Why
you
did you
so
choose it?
That song, it reminds me when I was in high school. This is when I started to hear that song. Because at that time I was the chairman of Scripture Union at around Form 6. So I had some struggles. Like I told you, at school, I had some struggles. I still remember a person, one guy once came to me and said, I would ever see any chikoro yoenda kuchifundisa. Chikoro chiri kunetsa. Teacher wangu mwejiwa kaya kanditi, unoparidza because ndaiparidza paassembly almost every day, every Wednesday and Friday. Akanditi, unobata mavhesi but haubati jiwa dzangu. Chinoitika iwewe. Mavhesi aunongochikota pamberi pevanhu. Saka the struggle. What I used to do every day at school, I used to cry. Whenever I tell people about my story, people they cry. Whenever I tell it in full length.
This is it. I'm getting chills.
So I still remember one day I hold a leaf. I was sitting at the back of the class alone, and I hold the leaf and I said, God, I think I'm useless on earth. Because I say one class and I say one, but why you go for like this? In my teachers, I'm going to but you are one of the guys who are not fired up at school. How much I don't buy my book or Singapore, but soon don't do for you. So it was a struggle. And this is the days when that song came from my head. So it used to ring at that time. We used to play it when I was the scripture in chairperson before the services. We used to play Makanaka Jesu. So even when I passed now, I passed my Form 4 and I passed my A level. I went to A level and I passed my A level, and it was a shock to people. So that was my theme song when I came from high school. By the way, I passed my Form 4, I passed my A level, and at Bible school I was the best student. I got the best student award.
Wow.
So that was my story. So it's Makanaka Jesu always.
Wow.
I see the goodness of God in my life.
Oh my God. This is it. This is it. This is the moment where you know that you know what you want. Keep telling yourself that you can do it. Nothing is impossible. Someone who repeated went back to grade 6 instead of going ahead to grade 7. They passed their Form 4, they passed their A level. God knows what He is doing with you. God knows He has plans for you actually. So what you have to continue doing is to just keep on believing in God, because Makanaka Jesu will be right back with Prophet Manyamest. He's going to wrap up the show with the training issues that we have. So in the meantime, Makanaka Jesu. Right back here for our last segment where Prophet Manyamest is going to tell us what's trending in the church, the Christian industry. So Prophet Manyamest.
Yes,
what do you have for us today?
Okay, firstly, tender Pastor Graham. Thank you so much. I'm in the trouble. The trouble, you know, the whole thing was just good. Yes. So yeah, you know, we have the Christian community and we have the prophetic movement going on. And you know, many people, you know, so you want to know what's really happening and what's going on. What are really people talking about exactly? You know, so you see Phindile, she says she wants to know. Like everybody knows, you know. So we have this issue of people just coming, you know, talking and no pressure. So my gifts. My gifts. So I was actually thinking myself, I hope you're gifted, but you know, you're not gifted more than me, right? Okay. You know, so we are just coming up, you know, people are just talking, and we have a man of God, a prophet. Actually, you know, everybody's asking, people want to know, the Christian community, you know, can someone be gifted more than God? Is it possible? Can that really happen? You know, according to you are a life coach, and you know, I want to know. For me, like, I want to know. Like, everybody's just talking there and that and all that. And I believe in the man of God. He is anointed. There's so much power, grace of God upon him, working on him. Then I want to know, what is your thought on that?
All right. My thought is, there is no one who can be compared with God, either in terms of wisdom, gifts, or anything. You know, it's incomparable. So I'm not quite sure, because I don't want to say what I don't understand. I really want to respect that that element. I really want to respect it. I'm not quite sure what the man meant when he was saying he's more gifted than God. But with my little knowledge, I don't find it, you know, making sense that a person may say is more than God or anything else. But from his end, I'm sure he has some ways to explain it. So I'm not quite sure what does that mean. I don't want to explain it because I don't understand.
Because what I see now, man of God, a bit of shaking in the Christian community. Like, people are shaking. Like, for the first time, like, we know, like, people that like the man of God, they love the man of God, so loyal to the man of God, right? We all like and we love him, and it's shaking. This is my own understanding. You know, I also thought that maybe Jesus at some point, maybe it was here this time, we could have maybe having some issues like that, because I also quote him in the Bible talking about drinking my blood, eating my flesh. Maybe it's one of those days, I don't know. Maybe it's one of those days. Maybe you can shed a light on that one. Maybe if we were to live in the times of Jesus, maybe we could have gone through the same thing, going against Jesus, not believing in him. How can you say you're God, you're just coming in, you're like in the same flesh, like that's what's going on, what's happening? You know, because these are the fathers that we look up to, and all that is happening. Like, I'm just hearing people not talking. Can you shed a light on that?
All right. I would not want to.
Okay. All right. It's okay. I feel like the both of you are scared to talk about this whole issue. Prophet Mangamist, you brought forward the issue of gifts, and you seem to be afraid.
You know, me, I'm not afraid, but what's happening is I want to hear people's views, because in any pachangu, this is what I think, right? And I want to hear what he thinks. I want to hear what you think. I want to hear what our listeners think. because everybody has their own views and thoughts, right? He is saying his own ways, and you have your own views. So inini, you know, kulevora munhu wamwari, you know, zvinosiana. Inini prophet Manyama, but my side ango, nditorine ango, that you don't understand. So I just want to hear. Maybe you can start. You can tell us.
No, personally, I don't want to seem like someone who is, you know, who is ignorant, because the man of God that is in question right now, I have never really given myself that much time to really, you know, focus on him. But like the statement that he said, when he says he's gifted more than God, and how he explains it, because according to what he's explaining, he says, I'm more gifted than God because God is a giver. He gave me this, meaning he already has, I think, and so who would have gifted him? I don't know, maybe I'll try and confuse, but that's according to what he was trying to explain. He was explaining using English, or, you know, he was trying to make us understand using like the right words in English and whatever. But then I feel like it's just, I don't know. It's
now you see. I think this is now you get it. Now you get it, right? We cannot explain this. We cannot explain this. We just want to hear people's views. We've got listeners. We've got people out there who are listening to us right now. We want their comments. What do they think about this? Now we're not judging. No judging. Just tell us your views. Tell us what you think about this whole
you couldn't
issue.
even be honest about it, Prophet Mayamist.
No, it's like I'm being honest about it, but I don't want to judge. I don't want to put myself in a place where I'm going to judge someone for whatever they say. Because in any realm, I'm a prophet. Manyama last for that matter. You know, so the word Manyama last, you don't know where I got it. That's my own revelation. You never understand.
You were
it.
gifted.
Aha, you don't know. That's a gift. So that's me. We just want the comments. We want to know what people think about this whole issue. And you know what? We can take it up there. So, but no judging. No judging.
All right. Well, I think we can say we've come to the end of our show. So if you have any comments about what we're discussing today, especially the gifts, you know, yes, that we're all talking about here. If you know that you have something to say about it, please just hit us up on our Facebook page, ZimGospel Gospel Masters Radio on Facebook. And also, if you want to direct it to WhatsApp, you can just direct it to 0779 056 960. And also, just contact us again on the Facebook page, Zimbabwe Christian Ministers Association. You're welcome to tell us your thoughts, because we are going to continue this thing with a lot of more confidence on what we think about it next week. So in the meantime, we also have Janet Manyoa. She has an album launch coming up, Father's House, in 8th July. So I'm pretty sure this is something that we can talk about and with confidence and really make sure that we attend the album launch and everything. So with that said, I have been Chantal Phindile Moyo. This has been the Gospel Love Show. Thank you so much, Pastor Graham. Thank you so much, Prophet Manyamist. We'll be with you, Manyama last. He'll be joining us again next week, and we also are going to be seeing more of Pastor Graham, as he's going to be also teaching us a bit of this and that in the other episodes that we're going to be having right here on the Gospel Love Show. With that said, I'll just leave you with a song called We Reign. So God bless.